It's summertime, and you know what that means. It means we just wrapped up our first year of homeschool. Scratch that, road school. If you're curious about what we did, how we did it, and if our kids actually learned anything, stay tuned. Welcome back to NOP, No Ordinary Path. I'm Kristen. Aaron, Ethan, and Chloe are inside, and John is behind the camera today. We are glad you're here. We have a great episode all about our homeschool year. If you haven't seen our original homeschool video, you should check it out up here. This is the recap at about 6 weeks in of what we were doing with our homeschool. And as you might have guessed, a lot has changed since then. So we figured we would do an update and let you know exactly what we're doing now and what's working for us.
A cat sat.
And
a rat ran.
Yay!
That water stays even though it comes up here and it's upside down is because of centrifugal force. I'm spinning it and it's pushing the water to the back.
Are you reading?
Yeah.
Awesome! We used the curriculum easy peasy all-in-one homeschool. And in the beginning of the year, what that looked like was the kids would sit down to the computer. We had 2 computers up at the same time, and we would have them go through. If we were on day 10, they would be working on their day 10, and it tells them exactly like exactly what to do. It goes through math and reading and language arts and writing and all kinds of extra things, including science and history and computers and art and a whole bunch of extra Bible, extra things that went along with it. And in the beginning, that worked really well for us, especially since we were transitioning out of public school and into homeschool. We all had this sense of, we need this structure. But let me tell you, it only lasted for 3 months, 4 months.
4 months.
By the time we got to Christmas time and to our winter break, we were leaving off history and science a lot of the time. We ditched a lot of the other extracurricular things. And then at about March or April, we went even smaller than that, and we went to just their workbooks. Previously, they were doing all kinds of things on the computer. The curriculum is set up so that you can do it online, or you can do it offline, or you can do both together. And we were doing both together. So we would do the page that we were on, the day that we were on in our workbooks, and also the stuff on the website, which was duplicating it, which I thought was good because it was helping them learn, but it was just too much. So ultimately we ended up ditching all of the online stuff altogether and did only the workbooks. Now, is that enough? How much can they actually learn on the road? Well, our kids learned all about American history on the East Coast. We visited Philadelphia, where the Independence Hall is located, and the actual signing of the Declaration of Independence took place there. We then saw Washington, D.C. and everything up and down the National Mall, the archives, the physical Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, and they are endowed by their Creator and certain alienable rights. But among these are truth, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
We saw Valley Forge, where Washington held the troops the very first year of the Revolutionary War. All kinds of things on the East Coast we learned about. And on our way back through Kansas City and on to the Southwest, we stopped at Mammoth Caves. We got to go all through there. They learned about the largest cave in the world. They learned all about sea life on the East Coast. And on the West Coast, they learned all about all kinds of wild animals. They got to see and experience and live in multiple habitats all throughout the United States this year. From the rolling farm hills of Pennsylvania to the desert life in the Southwest and the Sierra Mountains in Nevada. We also did fun things like factory tours where they got to see how our food is made and processed, and we got to learn all about energy and where our energy comes from.
Okay, what kind of animals did you learn about?
Wild horses, lizards, elk, deer, burros, horseshoe crabs, coyotes, crabs, whales.
Whales, we did see whales.
Tons of different fish.
Seals, anything else?
Javelinas,
Bub saw a javelina with me.
snakes, roadrunners, chipmunks, wolves.
Wolves. Turkeys.
What kinds of trees have we seen?
Redwoods, pines, ponderosas,
Sugar pine. Jeffrey, good job, Jeffrey.
sugar pine,
Yep.
Sugar pine.
cholla,
Saguaro.
Saguaro.
Joshua tree.
Yes, Joshua trees.
Joshua trees.
Eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus trees.
Eucalyptus.
So they saw and did all these spectacular things, but did they actually learn? Although it's not required for our state, we decided to go ahead and take the CAT test, which is a nationally recognized assessment test that a lot of homeschoolers use. There were several assessments to choose from. There's a couple of nationally recognized ones, and CAT was the one that came up the most when I was questioning other homeschoolers what they use, and so we went ahead and went with CAT. It also did not cost very much money, and we got results back immediately. So for both the kids, we did, it was $25. You do get a discount if you go in and you type in first CAT in the promo code. You'll get $5 off. What it comes down to is the assessments that we gave them were really just to help us focus their education going forward. And honestly, it gave me a huge boost of confidence because I was so nervous that our kids were not learning enough. And really, they were. They are learning plenty, and in fact, probably retaining a lot more than they would in a classroom setting just because they are living in the classroom. Sometimes when you're on the road, you have to just totally roll with the punches and do things a little unordinary, like taking your state assessments at a random library on your route to your next contract. We are here at the Klamath Falls Library.
I think it's gonna be good.
These guys are gonna take their final assessments of the year to see how we did in homeschool. It really pretty much showed that we were right on track with both of our kids, and even some, just like what you might imagine, some subjects they did really well in, like far exceeding their grade level, and other subjects they were at or even a little bit below in some certain areas such as reading comprehension. So guess what? We will be doing a lot of reading over the summer.
You want dollar bills right now, but you gotta work real hard. I know you want it to be easy, so let your guard down. And I said, see it in your mind, trust that, have what it takes inside, 'cause you can make it too.
What was your favorite part about homeschool this year?
Well, you can have, your mom will be your teacher. That's why I like it.
So you like the field trips the best?
For instance, John Muir.
Oh, John Muir Woods? Yeah.
John Muir Woods.
You learned about the redwoods?
Learned about redwoods for school. This is a pumice stone,
What's it from?
the volcano.
That's right. So it's a lava rock, isn't it?
And
This is the neat thing about it. Hold it up so the camera can see. That's right. It floats.
We've been testing all kinds of rocks.
So my nurse friends out there, does a stone float on water? Well, sometimes.
Sometimes they do. Yeah, don't drop them. What are we celebrating? How many tokens did we get?
Hey, that's Wally.
100. Why'd we get 100?
Because it's the 100th day of school.
Woohoo! You guys happy with your prizes?
Yep.
100 days of school, you guys. Super awesome.
As far as what I keep to prove that we completed a whole year of homeschool, the state of Kansas only requires that I take attendance. And it is actually 186 days for the state of Kansas, and the EP All-in-One Homeschool curriculum is 180 days. So if you're just following that curriculum, you can do things like field trips and other things to make up for the additional 6 days that are required by the state of Kansas. So I do have a folder where I have kept attendance, mostly. I might have had to go back and fill in the blanks. But then I also keep special projects. They had to create a newspaper earlier on in the year, so I have the newspapers that they created. I have some special artwork that they did, and then I also have their end of the year final project that they did. So I have all of that in a binder should I ever be asked about our homeschooling experience, as well as the test results. I will be printing those out and sticking them in the binder as well. We started the year following the Easy Peasy curriculum, and it is very much based on just letting them learn how to read. So there's nothing else, like no math or anything included in that, and it's because they believe that a solid foundation starts with reading. And I completely agree, but it just wasn't working for us, and Chloe was not having a great time with it. With Chloe, what I did was I took the idea, which was focusing on a letter a week, and we worked through our whole alphabet until she could recognize and say all of the letters in the alphabet, and then we moved on from there, and that's when we really left the Easy Peasy program. We started just getting some really easy books, like super easy readers, and we would start reading them together. Now she can recognize like sight words so much better, and she's already starting to read and recognize very simple books, and she's 4 years old. So I feel like what we were doing was working, and we didn't need a curriculum at all for it. I got several supplemental items from the Dollar Tree, and she loves to practice those. She finds it like a game, and so she enjoys doing that. The other thing is we have bananagrams, if you've ever seen those, are the little like tiles with the letters, and so we would practice making words together and practice letter recognition. We also did Play-Doh letters, and we would make sentences out of the Play-Doh letters and read the sentences together, and then we would put the letters, we had magnetic letters that we put on our oven, and of course we practiced our numbers as well. So we have like numbers workbooks and letter workbooks and all kinds of things like that. It's basically any time of the day when we have downtime, I'm working on something with her. So while the boys have school, Chloe didn't really have school time. She just had a let's snuggle and read time, or let's work on this and point things out in the book where we find, let's count how many butterflies are on this page, things like that.
You know, I just wanted real quick to touch up on something. I got an email from Samantha in Texas, and it was really a fascinating question in regards to homeschooling. Her question was, are we required to follow the different states' law depending on wherever we are in each state? And I said, no, it's just the state of which your permanent residence is. But please, you guys, look and see what your laws are. Kansas laws are different than some of the other ones out there. So we just wanted to throw that in there. Samantha, thank you for that question. It was a great one.
We're gonna do a little real talk for just a minute. I had never homeschooled before. John and I, neither one of us were homeschooled as kids, so we have very little experience with this. Although we have a lot of friends that do homeschool and continuously encourage us that they are in fact learning. You're gonna feel like a failure sometimes. You're not. I'm here to tell you that that thought goes through my head a lot even still. All throughout the year, I continuously had like this nervous kind of energy. Are we doing enough? If we go back into public school, are they gonna be where they should be? Are the teachers gonna judge me if they're not? These are real thoughts that went through my head. So I took them to the library so they could take their assessment, which ended up taking about 3 hours to complete. I was nervous the whole time. What happens if it comes back and says they're a grade level behind or they didn't learn enough this year, and what am I going to do if that happens? And a lot of my friends have encouraged me that in homeschool, you're not always going to follow what the standard school is teaching, and so what you're tested on may not be what they learned, but that doesn't mean that they didn't learn anything that year. In the end, our kids did really well on their test. I think next year it's going to be a whole different ball game, because going into this next school year, I already have the tools in my back pocket to know, like, I've been with my kids, I know how they learn, I know where they're struggling a little bit, and I know what the numbers say that they need work on. I feel much better now that we've ended the school year. We may have ended the school year, but we haven't ended learning, and that's the really cool thing, is they have no idea that we're still going to do school all summer long.
We wanted to let you know that yes, we do all these things and we do them to the best of our ability, but we don't do them perfectly.
Right.
So, you know, we do the best that we can, and that there's hardships too. It's not every day is great. You know, there's tears on both sides sometimes, right?
After the first month, I have this distinct memory of locking myself in the bathroom, and John came home and I was just crying, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this
My
anymore.
kids aren't going to be smart at all. Yeah.
That's when we changed things up.
Yeah. And wouldn't you say that was like one of the best tips that somebody gave
Yes.
you?
Yeah, I reached out to a friend, and really the best tip for anyone is that have confidence in yourself that you want the best for your child, and that's like the best opportunity for them ever, because obviously we want the best for our kids, and we're going to keep trying to find something that works for them. And if something doesn't work and it's causing tears every single day, it's time
It's okay to scrap it. It's okay to scrap it, even if it's like a core curriculum part of whatever the curriculum is that you purchased.
Yeah.
Don't slog through something and make the whole experience awful and horrible for both you and the child.
Yeah, and kids have bad days just like we do.
Yep.
There are days when they wake up on the wrong side of the bed and they're not motivated to do anything. And
I don't have days like that.
Rather than try to force it like you would in a public school setting, you have the opportunity to
Take a 0 day.
Take a 0 day, or do school in the afternoon or in the evening even. You don't have to do it first thing when you wake up in the morning. One day we were at the park and Chloe just started swinging all by herself, and she was so excited. She's like, "Mommy, I'm swinging all on my own." And I just remember being kind of sad that she didn't need me to push her anymore, and then realizing that you never stop learning. They're constantly learning new things and taking in the world around them. And if we're just loving and intentional, then they are going to learn and thrive and fly.
What's the worst thing that could happen if you tried? Well, you might fall, but then again, you might learn to fly.
I can actually swing. I'm spinning by myself. I feel like I'm flying.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them below. Ring the bell, get those notifications from us. And yeah, please subscribe and hit the like button. That like button really helps the channel out a lot. So thank you.
Yes.
Say goodbye, Chloe.
Say bye.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
That too.